welcome back to Everything Under the Sun. This is Miss Sharon Lane.
Well, I know you don't want to talk about it anymore. And I know you don't want to think about it anymore. And I know you don't want to be with me anymore. And it's tearing me apart, breaking me into nothing I can say, nothing I can do, 'cause you're breaking my heart, stealing my soul, taking my everything, taking my all. And I don't know what to do. And I know you don't want to hold me close anymore. You won't dance with me in the morning time anymore. And I know you don't want me anymore. And it's tearing me apart, breaking me into nothing I can say, nothing I can do, 'cause you're breaking my heart, you're stealing my soul, you're taking my everything, you're taking my all, and I don't know what to say. I know if I were to throw the door wide open, oh baby, you would run. Run just as fast as you can to get away from me. Baby, no, no, no. And I know you don't love me, oh how well I know. And it's tearing me apart, breaking me into nothing I can say, nothing I can do, 'cause you're breaking my heart, you're stealing my soul, taking my everything, you've taken my all, and I don't know what to do.
Woo! All right. That is Sharon Lane, everybody. I gotta wipe the tears from my eyes. As I've told you many times, whenever I hear that song, I want to go out and break up with somebody. That is one of yeah. That is one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard. It's a very emotional song, but it's one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard. and it's because of you that it is that way. Your voice just
Thank you.
melts butter.
Well,
Melts
John Morgan
butter.
has helped instigate that too.
Oh, okay.
I didn't want him to have the title of writing the saddest love song.
Well, the one thing about that is that it appears on a great music person here, Norman, who passed away. It's on his tribute CD. I know you wrote that song quite a few years before.
Not really. It was pretty new.
Okay.
Actually, not too. It wasn't that old.
It's always going to be Norman's song to me.
Well, it was Norman's song because Norman and I, in our lifespan together, had talks about music and sad songs, and if you can imagine the talks we had with Norman, because he could make you laugh in the middle of a cat's funeral.
Norman's part of the major roots of the Dayton music scene also. He and his brother and Dino and them, they've been around for a while.
Well, Norm came into Canal Street one day, and I was there, and he came in during the day. He wasn't old enough to be out on his own, but he was, you know. He was born ready to be out on his own, I think.
Norman was a rock and roll star to me.
From beginning,
Yes.
from birth on. But anyway, he came in and he made an announcement to me, because we had talked. He had come in and talked to me about music, and he just walked in and he went, "I'm going to be a keyboard player for the rest of my life. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play music that's what I'm going to do." And he just made that big declaration, and we had to talk. And so I remember that day, you know. And
well, I was talking to you earlier about being the roots, the glue that keeps us all together.
oh,
The music scene in Dayton is one of the. I will agree with you. I will put it up with any city in the country for the talent that we
absolutely.
have here. Does the music scene kind of as thriving or as it was when you got started here in town? Is it?
Oh.
I mean, the talent is just, it's overflowing.
I mean, COVID hit, and it's kind of put a bone in everybody's situation, you know, as far as playing out and having your audience and trying your new music. You're just dying to share with whoever will listen to it. And I'll tell you, and I said this again. I don't like to bring up names, because I don't want to leave anybody out. And because the music scene that we have right now in Dayton is amazing.
Right.
The talent is just crazy good, and the thing that I will say that I appreciate is there are just good people behind that.
Right.
I mean, there's not anybody that's not there to help somebody in music and to cheerlead. And I think the thing that is real close to my heart is that, and by no way am I saying it's right, because it's not, but from when I was young, and the business of how women were treated in the business when I was young, and I wanted to sing out in front of people and do all of that, and just it's better.
It's getting better.
It's better than when I was young. Is there a way to go on that? Yeah, there's some things that could be straightened out real quick, but not to our own doing. We did some of that to ourselves. But the bottom line to it is that we have this amazing talent in Dayton, and I'm lucky because they like me.
We love you, yes.
Because they keep me in work, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, when we're allowed to do it.
Yeah.
And right now we just can't. And, you know, they keep me in that.
Yeah, I moved away when I was 16, and I came back 10 years later, and 95. And up until 2012, I had heard of you. And I mean, and a lot of blues, Ira Staley, Tim Arnold, Scotty Bratcher, and them had told me there's this beautiful voice. Because I love women's voices. I love female singers. I think they're the most talented over a lot of males. Linda Ronstadt, and it goes back, and Stevie Nicks and stuff like that. Anyway, I threw my wife a free music festival. And for 15 years, I'd heard of you. 17 years, I'd heard, never got to see you. And you came on stage with Noah Witherspoon, who's one of the best blues guitar players in the country, I believe.
Absolutely.
And you I never heard you sing, and Tony, pulls me aside and goes, "Get ready."
Thanks, Tony.
And you sang the song, and I remember you reminded me that when you came off, I walked up to you with tears in my eyes and thanked you profusely for doing that. And ever since then, whenever I try to do something, I always try to have you on the show, on anything.
Thank you. That's kind.
But the music scene to me here is we all are family, and you're the mother. You are in charge of us, not in charge, but you help us and you give the advice. And was there back in the day, was there local musicians that would be like how you are now, with the newer talent coming in, that pulled you aside and said, "Sharon, you should try this or do it that way"?
I really can't say that there were cheerleaders for me.
Okay.
And I can't say that there were cheerleaders. I mean, like I said, I'm of that age where I was supposed to get married and have kids, and this would go away. This music thing wasn't a real job. If you needed a job, go get a real job.
Right.
And that kind of thing. Be a beautician or something, which is, I'm not saying it's not good, but I mean, if you are who you are.
Right.
And so I didn't have a lot of cheerleaders in my corner as far as women that were doing it, but I had good examples. Trudy and the Hobble Street Exit, that was a girl fronting a band. Wow, and so I did have some examples that I followed, that I watched what they were doing, and I paid close attention to them and stole everything that I could, just like I still do. And
everybody has that little one. Every musician has that little thing that they got from somebody else.
Well, sure, that's what it's all about. I'm going to steal that.
Yeah.
But
well, that just to me makes you even more how great your story is, that you basically were on your own to a point, starting out.
As a lot of young women that were trying to be in rock and roll, or just trying to be singer-songwriters and not be, when genres started happening, it pigeonholed, you had to have a pigeonhole.
Yeah.
And if you didn't, then your big companies weren't going to support you, or whatever all of that mess is. I'm just saying, if you were out there trying to do it, and you couldn't put you in a certain category. So, I started out just wanting to be a little rock and roll girl in a band or something, sing with a band.
Yeah.
With horns. Strut was good with that. We had a horn, we had some horns, and I loved that. So.
I love to find a recording of you doing Rock Steady with Strut. That's one of my favorite reasons.
Tony Peters did an interview with me one time for WTUE, and he loves it. He laughs all the time when I see him, because he said, he was talking about, because I was in cover bands, and I did, somebody said to me one time, "Well, you didn't sound like Bad Company," and he said, "You looked over there." "Well, I'm not." Right. He said, "I love that little part."
Yeah, I know Tony from WTUE days. The one thing that a lot of people probably don't know about you is your other love. You were a mom, and you stepped away. You didn't step away, but you became a mom musician per se.
Right. Absolutely.
But the love you told me, which I completely was shocked when I knew you did this, but that if you wouldn't have gotten into music, this is probably what you would have done. And I know that you're teaching, and you've won an award for best teacher but you started. It wasn't teaching music. Everybody, her first job was not teaching music. What you did for those kids on Xenia Avenue was amazing, and then to go on to Dayton's version of the School from Fame, Stivers, where you did teach music, correct?
No, I taught in the creative writing department, and what
it's
I wound
up teaching music, songwriting in a roundabout way.
Well, when I first started, I was teaching lyric composition through the creative writing department, and as much as I loved the kids, I felt that to be without. Some of them had musical abilities on instruments, and I would have them play, and we would write to it. But you know, I took that into spoken word.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
Now,
so
the first teaching job was to if I'm wrong, please, some underprivileged children.
well, just the neighborhood. It was just a neighborhood that I was lucky enough to get in through a nonprofit, and we had an after-school program that I developed called Miracle Makers. And that was 64 neighborhood kids, kindergarten through 6. They could come there after school, which working people need people to watch their kids till they get off work. And it was a learning environment, and I based all of the curriculum on Appalachian culture and history, because that seemed to be pretty much the American culture there, you know. And of course, I'm a hillbilly, you know, at heart, you know, so.
What do you say? I'm from Ohio.
Born in Ohio, my home is in Kentucky.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's like, where are you born, Kentucky?
Because
Because that's my home. That's where I feel. Kentucky.
Yeah.
Because I feel that I should have been.
Yeah.
I guess, and I'm going to claim it because I'm happiest there.
Hey,
you know, but,
well, that's where you sang in the church was down
well,
south.
I sang in the church more up here than I did down there, but I got at least, you know, I went to church every Sunday. I won't tell you why the kids all went and the adults didn't, but we went to church. and the church would babysit us till they felt better about getting up in the morning or whatever, you know, and that I kind of added to that. But anyway, you know, and here in church, I love gospel music. I love gospel music. I love it.
Well, I was telling you that if you go through just to me, because I put you up there with, you know, my favorites. But Aretha started in gospel.
Oh, yeah.
Bonnie Raitt started in gospel. Sharon Jones was in gospel when they started. I just learned that about Bonnie Raitt last night watching that documentary.
Well, I kind of think that gives you a good set early on about orchestrating harmonies in music. You know, you kind of, when you come out of that gospel, you're used to at least singing 1, 3, and 5, you know, you know, so you've got that harmony kind of built into you, which I think is essential in music.
Yeah.
But
to get back to the teaching.
Okay, so I taught at Stivers, School for the Arts.
Right. Now that's folks, that school is 3 different buildings, correct? Or 2 where they had to walk.
It's 2 different buildings.
And part of their major curriculum is arts and performing arts, music. It was one of the last schools to have that around here.
Yeah.
And I don't think they do it anymore. I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, they do. It's just that with this COVID, it's been hard, and it's killed the arts. You better be doing it at home. You know what I mean? But there's still instruction online from your teachers and stuff. Yeah.
So how was you love I could see in your eyes how much you love talking about it.
Well, okay, so I wound up gearing my thing into spoken word, and at the end, you would audition for the spoken word for the shows, and we would do a show. I'd do a senior show and a junior show and little, you know, and we would do a spoken word show, and we worked on it for, you know, quarters. You know, we worked on it on time, and I started bringing in, there was kids that could sing. I had kids that, oh my God, they had these most incredible voices, and I had kids that could play guitar and were writing songs. So I started incorporating music and singing and all kinds of things into this spoken word, and you would audition for it, because of course there were some kids that just didn't want any part of that.
Right.
I just don't want to even do that, and I'm not going to, and you can't make me. And so I really just wanted the kids that wanted to be in there, and it became pretty popular class, and especially for your senior shows and stuff. So I brought in adjudicators that had nothing to do with Stivers, that didn't know the kids, that I had nothing to do with it, and I had them adjudicate, and I built these shows, and we put together a team that we'd go out on the streets and do spoken word, and these kids are brilliant.
Yeah.
You know, they're writing incredible stuff, and I get to read it. And so then it became very clear that I was going to learn a lot from these kids, and that they had a lot of important stuff to say.
Yeah.
and they should be listened to.
Uh-huh.
Now, if I'm not saying emotionally, we have to grow up emotionally if we ever do,
Always grow older,
but
never up.
but they were wise people, and they were smart people, and they were being reared by good people,
Right.
and so yeah, I love it, and I do miss it. I miss being with the kids.
Yeah, I didn't. I can see that with when we talk. I got a little tongue tied there for a second. I was thinking of something. My real quick question, because we got to wrap it up, but I do want to say to you, the scene, the now, as we said, we talked about the scene now is incredible.
Mm-hmm. We ain't hurting.
Right, and but what you need to realize is what I wanted to put is how much you mean to all of us, and that's what's important because I everybody that I talk to that's in music from this area is you're the one person that's always brought up. I think you've met so much of this area, and that's why I want to get into the last thing I would like to talk about is a man who you respected very, very much, as I found out today. You actually won his Legend Award. Bing Davis, if you want to explain, we got a little bit of time. Because I asked you, I was shocked, and I don't embarrass, but I was shocked you've never won an award per se for a song or for music. And then you tell me you win the Legend Award, and I'm like, well, that's perfect. You won the ultimate award, for that. But to go ahead and
well, it came through an Appalachian program that Tess Little at Sinclair started, and it was called Reach. Uh-huh. And I was involved way back. We don't have time to talk about that part of my life, but Tess Little is an important person, and she and Bing Davis wound up putting together this Reach program to understand Appalachian culture and to understand Appalachian people and to help teachers know that, hey, you can tweak this right here, and these kids are going to learn more from you if you just respect their culture and that kind of thing. And I won the Bing Davis Legend Award. Now, I'll tell you what, kids, now listen to me. I do not have trophies in the cabinet. I was on a bowling team one time, and everybody loved me. I thought it was great. They wanted me, but it's because I had like a 9 million pin handicap. Okay? So I have not gotten awards, and now I've won some nice things on my art, my sculpture.
Okay.
But I said, but I got the Bing Davis, and he is such an incredible human being.
He's meant a lot to this area, and if you don't know who he is, Google. Because I have one more question before we go on. Okay, here it is. What, if there is there that one song that when you play it, it moves you every time? Do you have that one song? Even if it's not yours, do you have that one song? I asked the comics what their favorite joke was. Is there that one song where you're like, maybe you don't even want to play it because you just love it and it moves you so much?
Oh, God, that is such a bad question.
I know. I'd like to put you on the spot.
Well, it's hard for me to say because I will tell you that when I listen to Blue Valentine by Tom Waits, that takes my whole insides and just smashes them up. I think that might be my favorite sorrowful love song.
Okay.
Because I just think it's so incredibly good. And then, it's like, I love I want to do it, but now I'm thinking about it, and I might just do it, maybe someday for you.
Okay. You know that I have to look away if you ever sing to me.
I like Fever.
Okay.
And that's because my stepdad turned me on to Peggy Lee. Now, of course, I certainly don't do it like Peggy Lee at all, but I like that song. It's fun. It feels good. It feels sexy. It feels like the mafia should walk in to me.
Okay. Well, with that, I want to thank you. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. This means so much to me. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Sharon Lane. You can find her on YouTube. You can find her on Facebook. You can find her, just look her up, and you will be so impressed and so in love with her. You will be a fan like the whole state of Ohio and the Midwest is. Thank you once again, Sharon. Thank you to Tony Herdman and Fresh Air Studios for allowing me to do this. I'll be back in a week or two with my next podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all once again for tuning in. Please spread the word, subscribe to the page.